This is Andy Purewal for Boxing Social in association with Betfred, and for the first time in 2022, I am delighted to be joined by Anthony Crolla. Anthony, firstly, Happy New Year. I hope you had a good Christmas and festive period.
Happy New Year, mate. Yes, I did. Do you know what? It was pretty chilled after the last show was it the 18th? For me anyway, when Packages Order 2. Yeah, that was the 18th, wasn't it?
Yep.
After that, then I was happy just to chill. So I had a pretty quiet Christmas, New Year, a few drinks, a few of the nights, few drinks too many, a few of the nights. But other than that, it was a chilled one, mate. But I'm happy now to be back in the gym and looking forward to this year, without all the usual cheesy stuff, focus and all. But I felt a little bit recharged now. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it all.
And I know you've tended to keep yourself in quite good nick since retiring. So the festive period, did you let yourself
Yeah.
go?
Do you know what? A little bit, but nothing too mad. Probably done one or two too many cheese boards, but no, I wasn't that bad. I'm just at the gym. Well, I'm at my gym now, but I'm getting the Wi-Fi fitted, so it's why I've come to sit in the car. But like, go straight back in it, and I'll get fit again. Not boxing fit, but I'll get fit again.
And let's just reflect back onto that end of year show, the Packages Order 2 card. Obviously, your charge, Rhiannon Dixon, coming away with a points victory. How would you assess her time on the big stage and her win in that fight?
Do you know what? And I'll be honest, it was a bit of a nightmare week in the sense where it looked as if she wasn't going to get an opponent again. So it was a nightmare, and obviously I was trying to keep that from Rhiannon. And then the opponent, sort of a few days before the fight, she boxed Vader, who she'd boxed before in the first fight. And I said to Rhiannon, listen, you please don't think this is going to end up like the first fight, because Rhiannon put her over in the first fight. She's a lot more experienced now. She's a much better fighter. Physically, she looks miles better. And that was the case. But it was, Rhiannon, I genuinely think she can do something big. She's so inexperienced. Like, she didn't have an amateur background, as I've said plenty of times. She had an handful of white collar fights. She's had 2 fights in 2 years. So it's just about being busy now. And it would have been like, it was obviously the nightmare what happened to Smith Fowler, and it looks going to happen again. So it was just, what it was? It was a bit about boxing, although the arena was sort of more or less empty at that point, other than the few hundred that was in there. What is it was just like, not dress rehearsal, but being in the change room. The big difference from being on one of the big shows where you're getting took to the venue, you're getting told a definite time you're going to be on. There's a few cameras in there, so all that was good for her to come, to deal with for the first time. In the fight, listen, she was a little bit over eager. She knows that herself, but maybe she made it for difficult as she kind of moves. Thankful she stepped in to get her a fight. But I'm really excited about her. She's just got a little injury to the hand which she had going into the fight, but she couldn't afford not to fight. Like I say, really, it's like 2021 for her. Like, she boxed September and December, but I know it was the case for a lot of people. But it was would have loved to have got her out a few. It took a lot longer to make a matchroom debut than I would have liked, if I'm honest.
What will be the plan this year then, and for Rhiannon?
For me, Rhiannon, she just needs a few learning fights. Like I said, I genuinely believe she can do something under. It's just about getting a bit of activity. And I know in the women's game, they move a lot faster and titles will come. But one fight at a time, like you say, I think a few 6s, 8s, and then we look at it. Yeah, we look at it. It just depends how active she can be. But no, I'm looking forward to it. She's improving all the time.
James Moorcroft, another one of your charges. How's James doing, and what's going to be the plans for him this year?
James is really good. And I was made up with his win. I think it's, I'm always proud to be in any of the fighters' corners. But for me personally, it is like win that night was sort of highlighting the short professional, career as a professional trainer. He was in a good fight, a 50-50 fight, and he boxed perfect. He boxed really, really well in an 8-rounder against a very game opponent in Andrew Kaluka. And it was a top fight. The only shame was it was on so late in the night. But he boxed lovely. He really did, and it's always very satisfying to see some, things you've been working on come off in fights and stuff like that. So dead happy with James. And James isn't the one. He's not got an amateur background, but he's improving all the time. And I think now he's boxing a lot more to his strengths. And yeah, he's another one out of the fighters who I'm looking forward to 2022. But what he does, he lives it. He really lives it. And opportunities will probably pop up this year, to be on the bigger shows. It'll certainly be in a good place to take them.
There's a couple of guys over at Joe's gym. I know you're still obviously heavily involved over there as well, who have fights coming up. Callum Johnson getting ready for the Joe Smith Jr. fight next weekend. From what you've seen, Ant, how's he looking?
CJ looks really well. Yeah, he flies out. I think he flies out weekend. Yeah, weekend. I think, listen, anyone knows that fight. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to work out them two are going to meet in the middle of the ring at some point, and it's going to be bombs away. No, he looks good. I think people go off CJ's last fight and people who are, it was just a nightmare for him where he was in training, then he had to go walk down, and then he fell a little bit ill, before the fight. Well, he was after the fight, and it was just a bit of a nightmare. But he's got his chance now, and it's a massive opportunity, and he's drilled himself into great shape, especially with Joe, and he's looking forward to the task ahead. He's mentally seems in a good place.
Many see this has been CJ's last opportunity. So with that in mind, if that was to be the case, and how much pressure is there on his shoulders, and how confident as a team is everybody that he will come away successful?
So you could certainly, with the age and stuff, you could say it's his last opportunity in a world title, because do you look at it and think he's got time to rebuild and stuff like that? No, realistically, he's not. I mean, people like, if he gives a good account of himself, obviously there'll still be fights there, but that's not what Callum is thinking, Joe's thinking, or any of the teams thinking. I think that there's talk of Callum and Bivol, and then there's talk of Callum and Smith, and I think the Smith fight, Callum said to me, when I see the Smith fight as being a harder fight, but a fight where I've got a better chance of becoming world champion, if that makes sense. And not that I don't believe I can beat Bivol, but it'd be a lot trickier. And for instance, and this is in no way disrespecting Joe Smith, who's a fantastic fighter, it's a bit easier, finding, sparring partners and stuff like that for Joe Smith than a Bivol. But yeah, no, like you say, it is fair to say it's last chance to lose going into it. Obviously, you can see what the outcome is. I mean, listen, we're confident CJ's got a great chance of shocking a lot of people. I'm not saying he's a huge underdog, but there's no denying he's an underdog. And yeah, he's perfect. And I believe if Callum hits any light heavyweight on the chin, there's a great chance they'll go over.
As you said earlier, and most people know that this is a fight which it just has to catch fire. So with that in mind, I'm sure you, like most, will expect it to end at some point inside the distance. So
yeah,
what is the plan, or what can you at least let us know as to how Callum will approach it?
Oh, I think Callum, obviously I don't want to say, he'll do this or that. Joe will kill me, but I think that what I can say is, you've seen with Callum before, he boxes well on the back foot as well. So he can do both, and I'm pretty sure in the fight there will come a stage where he probably has to do both. Like say CJ being CJ, that's why I'm pretty certain at some point it's gonna be bombs away, and this fight out, which is going to be entertaining for the fight fans, at least. But yeah, no, I'm really looking forward. Like I say, I don't, even from a neutral, even if it was sort of a neutral, you'd think, no, that's going to be a great fight.
Macaulay McGowan getting ready for Sergio Martinez, and how's Macaulay looking?
Macaulay looks great. He really does. I see massive improvements in him. People see Macaulay as a bit of a joker, and he is a joker. He's brilliant, but he's very dedicated, and this is a massive opportunity for him, and you can't help but want. I mean, I've known the lad a long time, so yeah. But when you get to know him, you can't help but want the lad to do well. He's got a great story, and it's just he's loved boxing for a number of years, and he's sort of the flame's been relit again. I think the fights that he took over the pandemic for me, and I say to him, I think it was absolutely mental. I think it was absolutely mental. Yeah, he was entertaining, done his profile good in that sense. But it was where it be the, you know, I can argue say it's the wrong way, but then this fight's it was a bit of a different fight. Yeah, there was balmy fights. There was balmy fights to take. I didn't see any good coming out of him, especially I would work so hard to get back into shape from how big he was. But this is a great opportunity for him. And I look forward to going over to Madrid, supporting him. And obviously, if the current sort of situation with travelling over there stays the same, we'll have a good bit of support over there as well. I think everyone loves an away day, and Madrid, a great city and stuff like that. Seeing Macaulay take on a legend of the game. Listen, I know years past his best, but still, it's a great opportunity for him.
Now, Paul Butler was due to fight at the end of the year against John Real Casemiro, and that fight didn't go ahead with Casemiro saying he had some, he was ill before the fight. I just wanted to get your take on that entire situation that week, and why Paul obviously never ended up facing Agbeko as well.
I wasn't over there because I had James on the Saturday night. So all it is with the, listen, I don't know whether people might disagree with what I'm saying here. It's pretty obvious why Casemiro pulled out. It's common knowledge. It's now since he's been allowed to keep his title. And that's it. Listen, he's a great fighter. He's a great fighter. But the reason why he pulled out was because he couldn't make weight and he was severely dehydrated. I think anyone who says difference is wrong. So I don't know regarding Paul and Agbeko, that was talked about being made for some kind of interim or something like that. But I think in Paul's mind, he was going over there to fight for a world title, and it was like Casemiro's been the world champion, so that's it. He wasn't going to fight Agbeko for and be upgraded to world champion, was he? So now I don't know what's going to happen. I'm guessing Casemiro and Butler fingered, will get rescheduled. But that's obviously I felt for Paul. Massively. It was he trained so hard, he'd made weight. It was a very, very odd situation. I don't know loads about it. I just know that I think like anyone with half a brain, as brilliant as Casemiro as a fighter, if he wasn't going to make the weight, and that's why he got hospitalised. No, people will say it's for another reason. People might say it's for another reason, or he was ill. I've got the medical thing. He was ill, but probably because the immune system was shot to bits because he was severely dehydrated, and that's it. So that's it.
Just moving away from those guys, and I was trying to get your thoughts on the lightweight division as always. Obviously, we haven't had a chance to speak since George Kambosos, his stunning victory against Teofimo Lopez. Just to quickly touch on that, what did you make of his performance and his win?
It was an unbelievable performance. Upset of the year. I think it was. I'll be honest, and I genuinely knew, Kambosos was an handful, and I did say something. You could see how, focused, determined he was, and I did say, I said, anyone with that kind of belief and it looks genuine can be a dangerous fighter. But I just thought there was no way on this earth it was going to beat Lopez. But I did say, when I saw the weigh-in, I thought, I think Lopez still wins, but he's going to have it a lot tougher than I thought. But it was a brilliant performance by him. He sort of fought for I say he fought for the country. He did, he felt like he had the backing of Australia. And you've got to feel for him, the fight got put back. It got put back. It looked like it wasn't going to happen. He didn't. He got a great payday, but he didn't get the original, the madness that come from Triller. He still got some pay, but I think he seemed the kind of fighter where saying everyone likes money. Let's not, about it, but it is about the belts. It's about the belts, and it was a great performance. I think I was in Texas with you, and when I met Teofimo in person, and you probably there's not a chance he ever makes lightweight again. I thought, and then when he did, I was shocked. But I do believe that the weight played a part. Yeah, absolutely. But credit can't be taken away for Kambosos for that.
For Kambosos now, and You know, he can take his choice as to who he wants to face next. He wanted to watch how everybody performed in
Yeah,
and around his own fight day. You know, you had Loma Comi, you had Tank
yeah,
versus Cruz, and you had Devin Haney versus Jorge Linares. You wanted to see how everyone did. And the one fight which I think people want to see is the Haney fight, just to end any kind of controversy around if he can be classed as undisputed
yeah.
in the WBC situation. I just want to get your thoughts. If you could choose George Kambosos' next opponent, who would it be out of a current crop of lightweights, and how would that fight go?
It's it's hard because do you know what? Like you mentioned that, then, and I think Ian is a spectacular. You know, he's a brilliant fighter. Listen, he's the undisputed champion, Kambosos. Let's not pretend any other. If you want to go into paperwork and all that, yeah, all right. He's not. That was just a very odd situation. What did it start when Lomachenko Campbell was? And it
Uh,
started. I think it started when Lomachenko Campbell was Lomachenko won. It was for the full belt. Then it changed to, was it I can't say the word. Emeritus or something like that.
Emeritus,
What's the
yeah,
word? Yeah. And
Emeritus.
then Haney won it. It was just it was a very strange situation. The undisputed lightweight champion is George Kambosos. Everyone knows that. Haney's a great fight. Lomachenko's a great fight. Tank, it's a great fight. And it's hard because after him just beating Lopez, for me, he'd still be an underdog in any of those fights. I think, probably would be with the bookmakers as well. I think the best lightweight in the world for me is Lomachenko. Not just because he splattered me, but because I just genuinely believe he is the best lightweight in the world. Haney, I think, do you know what lightweight Haney? I think there's a bit, not just stylistic, but I think there's a bit of mirror about where he finds a way to win. And I favour him, but I don't know, you're back against Kambosos like I did last time, and he proved you wrong. You probably shouldn't do it again. But either way, I remember pointing out at the time, I didn't know who was, I think Lou DiBella looks after him. I'm sure he'll get him the best deal. And that's what he deserves. He deserves a great, I don't mean like selling his belts, because he'll have totally different, plans about that. But whichever fight he deserves a huge payday.
Have you got a preference? I know you've mentioned Loma. Would it be Loma?
I'd probably like to see. I'd like to see Lomachenko because I believe he's number one, and I just think it's a bit mad the way he's sort of been. He wanted the four kings, this and that, and I just think you think Lomachenko he won't have too much longer left, so I'd like to see that fight, and I think it'd be massively entertaining as well.
Another one I want to get your thoughts on. We saw Ryan Garcia say he'd like to face Isaac Cruz, who gave Gervonta Davis a
Yeah,
very good fight on December 5th. What be your take, Ryan Garcia versus Isaac Cruz?
I'd love to see it. I'd love to see it. I was massive. Well, it was I think it was literally a day yesterday or something. I was massively impressed against Luke Campbell, by Ryan Garcia, because Luke's a top lightweight, or was top lightweight. And it wasn't a flash knockdown. That wasn't a flash knockdown. And it was literally, for me, and it's certainly not being disrespectful to Luke in any way, it was a minute after that knockdown, everything had cleared, and he walked Luke down and he beat him up. He walked him down, he's letting power shots go. And Luke still had bits of success, but he beat him up, after that. And Luke's a top lightweight. So I think after that fight, I was really excited, to see what's going to happen. And obviously he's been in camp for a bit now. I know he had issues outside of the ring, mental health and stuff like that. But I'm excited to see him in with, and he is excited with absolutely any of them. So that's where I think was in. Garcia is one of the cash cow, one of Golden Boys, Golden Goose. Tank, obviously, doing his thing. They're always going on about his pay-per-view numbers. Lomachenko, Haney with the zone matchroom. He's got 4 fighters there with, 4 different outfits who are all going to see that as a winnable fight. So their guy gets all the belts. So that's what I'm on about, where either way, Kambosos is getting paid very well.
Just moving away again, and just get your thoughts on a couple of things before I let you go. We saw the WBC confirm Fury-Whyte will be an 80-20 split if it was to go to purse bids. Just get your thoughts on that.
Tyson Fury is one of the biggest names in boxing. He's one of the biggest, names, one of the biggest sporting athlete, most recognizable athletes on the planet. So it just happens that's their rule. Well, they've done it before with a few fighters. I saw recently it was Jamel Herring, Shakur Stevenson. Something similar happened. I think the only thing with that, what I didn't agree with, Stevenson was challenging for the belts, wasn't it? Which I didn't really get. I mean, listen, I think Dillian White's still going to get a huge payday, isn't it? I don't. I said that again, like with the BBC. Let's be honest, that's been very confusing. How him and Povetkin was a final eliminator. Obviously, Povetkin won. Then they've gone again. So I don't know. I just think it's just being honest. Fury is a huge name. So I don't know. I think people have different opinions. I think Dillian's going to get very well looked after. And I understand Fury getting the bigger cut.
And
Much bigger cut.
final topic, and Khan-Brook, we finally come around to it. We're only just over a month away now, about 6 weeks away. I was thinking your thoughts though on the whole weight situation. Made a
Mate, that's it.
line and then going up to they can't go above 163 the day after.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I don't. I really can't pick a winner at the minute because I don't know. Being honest, I like both lads. The question is, there's two questions. How much does the weight take out of Kel? But then second to that, it's both fighters are both past the best. It's who's got the most left. Both are in the gym now. Christmas cancelled for them both. I think there's always going to be some kind of stipulations with the weight and stuff. And I think Kel really wanted this fight and he was willing to do that. And it's just whether he's probably bent over backwards a bit too much, regarding the weight and stuff like that. But, people, I said it sort of at the time, it doesn't sell like it once did, but tickets were sold out within minutes. So it still really sells. And the amount of people who've asked us about, can you get tickets? And I'm like, mate, I can't. I don't, there's obviously still a demand for it. And I think as the fight gets closer, the behind the gloves starts going out and stuff like that, they become even more demand. So it probably does a lot better numbers than originally thought.
All right, and we will leave it there now. I'll leave you to enjoy the rest of your day. I
And good to catch up, mate. Good to catch up, pal.
Enjoy the rest of your day. Obviously, Happy New Year once again. And look forward to catching you in person soon, mate. Thank you for speaking to me.
Definitely, mate. Take care, pal.